You're going to be identifying the sentence type that is used in each of the following sentences. Welcome back to my channel, Master Everything English. So, like I said in my last video, where we focused on sentence types that were based on purpose, as is promised everyone, today I'm going to be doing a whole different lesson on sentence types based on structure. So the aim today is to understand the structure of sentences. There are four main types of sentences based on structure. There is simple sentence, there is the compound sentence, there is a complex sentence, and the complex sentence. But before we get into the structure of sentences, you first need to understand what is a dependent clause as against an independent clause. All right. Sentences are categorized based on structure by the number and types of clauses. So an independent clause, like the word said, independent, can stand on its own. All right. It simply means that when you read a sentence, all right, it is independent because it makes complete sense. Whereas a dependent clause is the opposite of an independent clause because, like the word dependent says, that simply means that it's a clause that cannot stand on its own. So, in essence, a dependent clause does not make sense on its own. All right. And then learning these sentence types helps improve clarity and variety in writing. So let's move on to the first type of sentence, which is a simple sentence. So a simple sentence has one independent clause, all right, and it has no dependent clauses. So the basic formula for writing a simple sentence is just that it must have an independent clause. Let us look at these examples. Sarah and Mark went to the store. In this example, we have a compound subject, Sarah and Mark. What is the action that they complete? They went to the store. So this sentence, as it is written, makes complete sense because you can understand everything that the sentence is telling you. And here's another example. The sun set behind the mountains. So here we have another sentence where the subject is the sun. What is the action? Set behind the mountains. It makes complete sense. The second type of sentence are called compound sentences. What is a compound sentence? A compound sentence has two or more independent clauses connected by a coordinating conjunction or a semicolon. Now, just to make this clear, a coordinating conjunction is used to join compound sentences. Examples of coordinating conjunctions are words such as but, so, and. All right, those are just a few examples. So the formula for compound sentence is that, as I said earlier, it must have at least two or more independent clauses plus the coordinating conjunction. An example is, I wanted to go for a walk, but it started raining. In this example of a compound sentence, here we have one independent clause. I wanted to go for a walk. All right, that part of the sentence can stand on its own. And in essence, this part of the sentence here, I wanted to go for a walk, is also a simple sentence. So we could say that compound sentences, all right, are really simple sentences put together. All right. The other part of the sentence, it started raining, is also an independent clause. It can stand on its own. All right. But here, as I said earlier, we have the coordinating conjunction but. Now, whenever you're writing a coordinating or a compound sentence, a compound sentence that is joined by a coordinating conjunction must have a comma before the conjunction. All right? So let's look at another example of a compound sentence. The students studied hard. They passed the test. Here we also have another example of an independent clause. The students studied hard. That makes sense on its own. All right. And then the other part of the sentence, they passed the test, also can stand on its own, which is an independent clause. All right. Now, if you notice here, we have what is called a semicolon. When would we use the semicolon in a compound sentence? We use the semicolon in a compound sentence when you do not use a coordinating conjunction. All right? So this sentence has the coordinating conjunction. No need to use a semicolon. But in this sentence, we do not have a coordinating conjunction. So there is need to use a semicolon. Let's move on to the third type of sentence, complex sentences. A complex sentence has one independent clause and at least one dependent clause. So what's the formula? We have the independent clause plus the dependent clause. Examples: although it was raining, they decided to go hiking. So let's break this sentence apart. Here we have although it was raining. Question is, does this part of the clause make sense? No, it does not. It is incomplete. And so here we have a dependent clause, although it was raining. The sentence now needs the independent clause in order to make complete sense. So the independent clause in this example is they decided to go hiking. All right. And here we have what is called a subordinating conjunction, the word although. So subordinating conjunctions is another type of conjunction. So first we had the coordinating, now we have the subordinating conjunction, although, which we use with complex sentences. Another example here we have, she enjoys swimming because it keeps her healthy. All right. So here we have the independent clause. She enjoys swimming. All right. That's the independent clause, can stand on its own. And at the end of the sentence, we have the dependent clause, because it keeps her healthy. So in this example, the dependent clause comes at the end of the sentence, but in this example, the dependent clause is at the start of the sentence. All right, let's move on. Another type of sentence is called a compound complex sentence. A compound complex sentence has at least two independent clauses and one dependent clause. So there's a formula. Independent clause plus the independent clause plus a dependent clause. All right, so we have the independent clause plus another independent clause as well as a dependent clause. Example: although she was tired, she finished her project and she submitted it on time. So let us break this sentence apart. Here we have although she was tired. Does this part of the clause make sense on its own? No, it does not. Plus, it has the word although here, right? Which is essentially a subordinating conjunction. And the fact that it has a subordinating conjunction here tells you that this part of the sentence before the comma is a dependent clause. Plus, it does not make sense on its own. Here we have she finished her project. Does this make sense on its own? Yes, it does. So here we have the independent clause. All right. Here we have a connective. In this example here, the connective is a coordinating conjunction. All right. And then the sentence goes on to say, she submitted it on time. Does this part of the sentence make sense? Yes, it does. All right. She submitted it on time. All right. Let's move on. So here comes the fun part of the video. All right. I am going to test how well you have mastered the sentence structures. All right. So you're going to be identifying the sentence type that is used in each of the following sentences. So I'm just going to give a pause at the end of each sentence and let us see if you guessed them right. And please comment in the comment section of the video if you had actually gotten each correct. All right, so let's give this a go. Number one, while she was cooking, the dog played outside. So what is this sentence type? I hope you guessed right because this is a complex sentence. Number two, the flowers are blooming and the birds are singing. Hope you also guessed this right because this is called a compound sentence. And number three, finally, they walked to the beach. And I hope you got this final one correct. This sentence is a simple sentence. All right, so let's move on. Just to wrap up, these were our answers. And as is usual, please like, comment, and follow for more educational videos to help boost your grammar skills. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.